Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to see about the very interesting and the very powerful CI class manager, and this is in the ServiceNow CMDB module, and we are going to see what are the features it provides, what are the things that we can do, how it is going to benefit, CMDB managers or developers, what are the information you can see there. All these things are things that we're going to see today. So without much further delay, let's get into it. If you have been working on a CMDB module for quite some time, you already know what is a class manager, what it does, right? So just giving a brief definition of what a class manager is. The CI class manager in ServiceNow is a centralized tool for managing configuration item classes in the CMDB. It provides a single interface to view the class hierarchy in a tree view, create, edit classes, and configure settings for identifications, reconciliation, relationship attributes, and CMDB help. So all these things we are going to see one by one. Each it is separated by different tabs. We have a tab for identification. We have a tab for reconciliation. We have a tab for relationships, attributes, CMDB health. So we're going to see go to each of these tabs and see what exactly it does. So the first tab that we see when we go to CI class manager is the basic info tab. So the basic info tab provides provision to view, edit class details, display name, table name, extensible flag, icon, set managed by group, configure principal classes, and other basic settings. Right. And the attributes tab, the one below basic info tab, this gives us provision to view inherited, derived, and added attributes specific to the class. It also gives us provision to create new class specific attributes. If you want to create a new attribute, you can create it there. Manage field properties, recommended required for health scoring. Okay. So now that we have seen the slide, let's go to the instance and see what it offers there. All right. So for the sake of people who are using this for the first time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to CI class manager right from that. So all you need to type here on your search bar is CI class manager. And if you have the right roles, you will be able to see CI class manager under configuration. I click there. So this is the first view that you're going to see. So you have to click open hierarchy. And here, unless you select a particular class, you won't be able to see the class, how the particular class is managed. So selecting a particular class is very important. So for the purpose of this particular demo, let's select probably cluster. Yeah, let's select cluster. The cluster is the class that we have selected for the sake of this particular demo. And in the basic info tab, as we saw um, in the slide just now, you can see the display name. Display name is nothing but the cluster name of the class. The table name this particular class belongs to, a small description of that particular class. All these things are editable. You can change your description here. Extensible means you can make this as the parent class and create child classes. So unless this is checked, if you uncheck this, you cannot make a child class out of this, right? So because this is checked, you can see there is a button called alt child class. So you can create a child class for this particular parent class, right? Then principal class, mark important classes as principal. The CI belonging to this class can be filtered from the list view of the configuration item. So you can make this as a principal class if you check this particular checkbox here. then managed by. So if you want this to be managed by a particular group, you can select that particular group. Default product model, if you have a default product model, designates a product model that records of this class should record of should reference for the product model field if a specific model is not able to be created or found. Okay, the default product model you can select, and you can have a icon for this particular class. Now the second tab is nothing but attributes. Discard this. We're going to attributes. Attributes are nothing but the fields that is present in the CI class. In that particular class, you can see all the fields here. You can see the derived fields. Derived fields are nothing but if so we know that for every class there is a parent class, right? So all these are derived from the parent class. So you can see there's a list of fields, attributes, and if we have any additional or custom one that you would like to add, you can add it here. You have the functionality to create new, so this will be applic- applicable only for this particular class. We added to this particular class, right? Okay, so next we are going to see about identification rule and reconciliation rule. Okay, now we come to the third tab, that is the identification rules tab. So basically what this particular tab does is define rules to uniquely identify CIs. This is basically we do it to prevent duplicates. Use identifier entries with priorities and criterion attributes. Example: serial number, MAC address, plus MAC address. Supports inclusion rules. We can have advanced filtering inherited from parent classes. Uh, and the next is nothing but the reconciliation rules tab. So this particular tab help us to control which data sources. Let's say we have multiple data sources that are updating CMDB, like Discovery, SCCM. Uh, so which one should have more priority over which fields, right? It's as per the fields that we define this reconciliation rule. Data refresh staleness rule, like if a particular CI needs to be marked as stale if it is not updated for X number of days, then we can define that in the reconciliation rules tab. Prevents data flip flopping from multiple sources. So let's say uh, if it is coming from multiple sources, it might be named in multiple different ways. So it reconciliation rules actually help us prevent that particular flip flopping from happening. Okay, so let's go to the instance and see what it. Okay, now you can see on the instance we have the identification rule. So this particular rule, I think this came out of the box for the cluster class CI. So you can see there is an identifier entry already. We need to give the uh, prerequisite, all these things, like it should apply to which class. If you have a description, you can provide that description here. Now if I click on this, you can see the priority. This is having the highest priority, so this identification rule should run first after the discovery, right? So it is active, it is having priority 100. And if I go to main table settings here, you can see what are the fields through which, what are the attributes through which this particular CI will be identified. So that is what you have to put it in the selected bar, I mean selected section here. Okay, and you have to go ahead and save this. Now that I've not made any changes, I'll click on back, just close this. So this is what identification rule does. You can create multiple. If this is having priority of 100, you can to create another priority that is 200, 300, 400, so on and so forth, right? That is about the identification rules, and there is inclusion rules also, which is bit advanced topic. This narrows the scope of CIs that are included in the identification rule. Only one inclusion rule is allowed per CI identifier. So this, if you want to further narrow down, you can actually have the inclusion rule provided here. Okay. So next comes the reconciliation rules. So a reconciliation rule is, I believe, one of the very critical rule um, created in the CMDB CI class manager, because let's say we have um, a CI being populated from multiple sources. We have from discovery, we have from SCCM, we have from some other integrations. We have all this information coming onto the CMDB, the that particular CI field updating. So we should set a priority for. We should know. We should take an informed decision on which one will have a better clarity on that particular field or that particular CI. Let's say we believe that discovery should be the source of truth for particular fields in a particular CI. Let's say we have a CI for the same cluster, and we believe that for two of those fields, let's say name and something else, if discovery is bringing that information, that will be more correct than other sources. So that is what we set in the reconciliation rule. We can add the reconciliation rule here according to that, which one should have more priority. Okay, that is what we add in the reconciliation. Once you add, you can preview the rule, preview the data, recompute, all these features you can do it here. Uh, Next is suggested relationship. So you can see create a list of relationship types to select from when building relationship for this particular class. So for the cluster class, what are the different relationship suggested relationship? You can search for other classes and add that relationship here. Um, Edit an already added relationship. All these things you can do it from the suggested relationship tab. Okay. Now this is the all relationship rule. Relationship of this class are shown. Use this filter to select specific relationship categories to view. So if you want like to view a particular relationship from here, this gives you all the relationship rules, like how these clusters are, how this particular CI class cluster is related to other uh, classes, right? So all these things you can see from here. Okay, so in the next one, we are going to see about the health, that is completeness, compliance, and correctness, and health inclusion rules. Oh, okay, so in this section, we are going to discuss about health, um, the health inclusion rules, the health metrics that we have in the CMDB CI class manager. So the first one is nothing but completeness. So you can have the field selected which decides the completeness of a CI class, right? So from here you can have you can see there are all the fields that is there in the CI cluster class, and you can put it in the selected button, selected tab here. Next is nothing but the compliance. So if there are multiple certificates, if there is a certificate template also, which decides the compliance, how compliant is this particular CI class, uh, how compliant is this CI class is. That is what the compliance section decides here, right? And the correctness. Correctness, the multiple rules, like there is orphan rule, there are staleness rule. So on what basis that you decide a particular CI is an orphan of this particular class, that is what is being defined here. and the staleness is how what is the criteria based on which you decide a particular um, CI becomes stale, right? If it is not updated for, let's say, 60 days, 30 days, 40 days, you can put all that information here and create that particular staleness rule. Okay. Now, the health inclusion rules, you can decide what and all metrics should have an inclusion so that it decides the health inclusion rules. Let's say we have the duplicate rule, we have the orphan, we have the staleness rule. So if you want all these to create a metric and decide the health, then you can put it in the selected, select this and put it in the selected bar, and all this will decide the health of that particular CI class. And final thing is the CI list. So CI list will give you the list of all the CIs in that particular CI class. Okay. So I hope this video was able to provide you a good introduction towards CI class manager, and hopefully you understood what a CI class manager is. So if you like this particular video, please do subscribe and comment and like, so that uh, I can bring in more informative sessions in the future. Thank you.